Welcome, friend. Are you the one I've heard talk about?
Are you here to discuss chores you can do for Great House Telvanni? I need you to take a letter to Bal Gernak. Yes, deliver this letter to Bal Gernak. You can probably find the fool in his manor in Lithanese. Don't concern yourself with its contents. Bal Gernak will understand. Go.
Friend? A warm welcome to you. Welcome, friend.
What do you think of poor Telvanni's, warrior of spell? Just climb inside the little cabin, and my strider Silky and I will lead you to Lithanese or Telwada, at your leisure.
Walk with virtue. Please join me. I see this land suits you.
What do you think of Lithanese, Dark Elf? I am Grimdal, Enchanter.
Dust to mountains. I've seen high mountains wash away. As they fall, so rise another day. Flesh fades to bone. Bone back to dust. The sharpest blades give way to rust. Nations rise, and kingdoms fall. And rise again, built strong and tall. Light dims and dies. And the night falls down. The cursed name called with great renown. Yet my time flows on. Amidst this waste. And the death I've seen I'll never taste. The Seven Fights of the Aljadaga. Editor's note. The following excerpts come from their time is a passage from the text of the Vigir, a passage from the text of the Vigir, a passage from the text of
This is the place to be in Lithanese if you are looking for potions. I am Humanauer, apothecary, and oatman of the Great House Telvanni.
Quite a place this, isn't it? It's carved into the very rock of the hillside. I am Donshar, sorcerer, and oatman of the Great House Telvanni. The enchanted ring called Moonanstar, or one clan under Moonanstar, as the Ashlanders call it, was forged for the hero Narivar by one of the Dwemer sorcerer priest Kagranak's smiths, and blessed by the Didra Lord Azura. The ring gave Narivar supernatural powers of persuasion and indisputable proof of identity, since any other who tried to wear the ring would be killed instantly.
I I see this land suits you. We welcome you freely, Outlander.
Cowardice of the enemy. My own life. True introspection of Telvanni nobility.
How are you?
Cowardice of the enemy. Cowardice of the enemy. Wabajak. Little boys shouldn't summon up the forces of eternal darkness unless they have an adult supervising. I know. But on that sunny night on the 5th of First Seed, I didn't want an adult. I wanted Hermias Mora, the Didra of knowledge, learning, gums, and varnishes. You see, I was told by a beautiful, large-breasted man who lived under the library in my hometown that the 5th of First Seed was Hermias Mora's night. And if I wanted the Okama Infinium, the Book of Knowledge, I had to summon him. When you're the new king of solitude, every bit of knowledge helps. Normally, you need a witch's coven, or a mage's guild, or at least matching pillowcase and sheets to invoke a prince of oblivion. The man under the library showed me how to do it myself. He told me to wait until the storm was at its height before shaving the cat. I've forgotten the rest of the ceremony. It doesn't matter. Someone appeared who I thought was Hermias Mora. The only thing that made me somewhat suspicious was Hermias Mora. From what I read, was a big blobby multi-eyed clawed monstrosity, and this guy looked like a waistcoat banker. Also, he kept calling himself Shiagarath, not Hermias Mora. Still, I was so happy to have successfully summoned Hermias Mora. These inconsistencies did not bother me. He had me do some things that didn't make any sense to me, beyond the mortal scope, breadth, and ken, I suppose, and then his servant happily gave me something he called the Wabajak. 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 Maybe the Wabajak is the book of knowledge. Maybe I'm smarter because I know cats can be bats, can be rats, can be hats, can be gnats, can be that's, can be this. And that doors can be bores, can be snores, can be floors, can be roars, can be spores, can be yours, can be mine. I must be smart, for the interconnective system is very clear to me. Then why, or wherefore do people keep calling me mad? Wabajak. Wabajak. Wabajak.
I do enjoy a good conversation.
Vakis. An obscure text in the language of the Slode, purportedly written by the Second-era Western necromancer, Engasta. Engasta. Kvida. Vakis. Engasta. Kvida. Vakis. Estes so nova hoslatiro, oya gemil, so rainta. Rice. I don't think we've been introduced, Outlander. I'm Linitra. How can I help you? I am Linitra, apothecary and retainer of the great house Telvanni. Well, Bal Gernak is a high-ranking Telvanni wizard. He controls much of what goes on here, so I would recommend going to see him. Dadav Atharain runs the River Strider services out of here. Rant Harris runs the Water's Shadow Tavern. Apart from that, everybody here is a Tradesmer or a commoner.
I see this land suits you. We welcome you freely.
I don't recall using teleportation, and yet there I was.
Speak freely.
Naked.
Greetings, friend.
What are you doing here? What can Jobiram do for you? Yes, Jobiram must do everything that his master says, for his master is a mighty wizard, and Jobiram is just a poor slave. Jobiram doesn't know much about the local people, except for master.
Greetings, friend.
Up in Rainian Room, they are complaining about not having enough slaves to do their dirty work. Why can't these Dunmer ever do their own labor?
Gulane's architecture of the Second Empire, the test of evasion. Gulane's architecture of the Second Empire. This is Gulane Marali's outdated but entertainingly written and well-illustrated reference on late Khmer architecture. Excerpt is from the chapter describing the Second Empire style of approaches and defenses, and mentioning the common formal convention of the four tests. The book also mentions that the Telvanni have adopted this four tests convention as an aesthetic element in their defenses and approaches to their towers. The test of pattern requires the observer to examine and analyze for patterns before he acts, with the understanding that many patterns are subtle or hidden. The test of disorder requires the observer to proceed systematically when no pattern is perceived. When the observer recognizes that many things must be done, and in no specific order, the procedure is to perceive and order all the things to be done, and, upon doing a thing, to recall how and when that thing has been done. For example, the observer must remember the initial position of a thing, and also the new position of that thing. The test of evasion requires the observer to examine the obstacle, and compare his resources and abilities. If the obstacle is too difficult, seek for a path around the difficulty. The test of confrontation requires the observer to examine the obstacle, and compare his resources and abilities. If the obstacle is too difficult, look for a path around the difficulty, but if no path around can be found, confront the obstacle directly. The Charwich Konianj Letters, Book of Time. On the preparation of lesson to you. Vampires of the Iliac. Dalder. Ezra Dalder. Ezra Dalder. Dalder. As Rowan Malhai Ag Hujal Lursen and Mbr Fut Os Kosi Ag Wager Ot Salsha Dal Dicom as Hadish Quapeg Ujal Rokav, Adurith Werf Tefer Bimer Dalder. En Hullo Com U Fur. Molarath Hij, as Dalder Nibiv, Turataji Sinvakam Gufisha Sing Kom as Lursen Rowan, Laurnath Ml Laurni If Mki Liver, Kasire, and Kestis. Bonithgar Ye Molarath Salsha Os Period Kol as Rokav M as Hadishk, Turudithgar Ml Laur Jisinvath Dalder Dodith Lo Laurnath Kol Ye Ufif Erat. Arnate, Urathir M Abhoril Kol Ki Lissithal.
I see this land suits you. We welcome you freely.
What brings you to my manor, Dark Elf? Do you have a question about Lithanese? Yes, I am in charge here in Lithanese. I have managed to build this town from the ground up, yet I am given no recognition by the council. They sit there in Port Telvannis, talking endlessly, yet they cannot recognize a true leader when they see one. Well, hand it over. The letter is blank, Ada. Mistress Eldale.
Bal Gernak, do not meddle in the affairs of the Parliament of Bugs. You have been warned.
I know you had nothing to do with this affair, but I think it best if you leave now, retainer.
You flatter me with your attention.
Have you delivered the letter to Bal Gernak? I trust the fool understood the message. I suppose that has little to do with you. Here is your reward. You have the skills we seek, but you have no done enough chores for House Telvanni. House Telvanni, message to Bal Gernak. Mouth Fervis Shulissa has asked that I deliver a message to Bal Gernak at Lithanese. Strangely, the scroll appears to be blank. When I handed the blank scroll to Bal Gernak, a Dremora was summoned. It told Bal Gernak to cease his meddling in the Parliament of Bugs. Fervis Shulissa thanked me for delivering the message to Bal Gernak.